entrepreneurship, and transformative leadership. He has developed a strong work ethic early in life and built his career through determination and innovation. His leadership at CineSpace helped transform Chicago's film industry, revitalizing communities, creating thousands of jobs, and generating significant economic impact for the city and state of Illinois. Beyond his business accomplishments, Alex has also championed educational and workforce development initiatives that have empowered individuals through film and television training opportunities. Today, through Electric Capital and his ongoing philanthropic work, including the Alexander S. Picios Family Foundation, Alex continues to invest in both ideas and meaningful community impact. He is also both a current and former parent, and we are truly blessed to have you with us this evening. Please join me in giving our panelists a round of applause. I would like to now share with you the agenda for the evening, briefly. And then I would also like to thank our lovely mentors, who are Mr. David Young, Mr. Jeff Young, Mr. Zeman, Mr. Koha, and Mrs. Paval. And I will read this up. Now I would like to invite Jack Maloney to the podium to give a testimony of his experience in this incubator.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jack Maloney. I'm a senior here at Carmel. The Incubator program has been an amazing experience for me over the past 2 years. I was first introduced to the Incubator program from my brother, who had taken it and has recommended it to me. As he went through the program, I got to see all the opportunities he got to experience and the growth he had. This made me want to be a part of the Incubator program to see what I could learn. When I first started Incubator, I was immediately put out of my comfort zone, as I was assigned to people I didn't know. However, this experience taught me valuable lessons, like how to work with others effectively to achieve a common goal. Through this experience, I formed friendship with people that would not have otherwise, and I am thankful for. My public speaking has greatly improved over my time in Incubator. Before Incubator, I struggled to talk in front of large audiences, but from practice and guidance, I gained more confidence. I would like to say a huge thank you to Ms. Linger for all the effort she's put into me and the Incubator program as a whole. Her feedback and advice has truly prepared me for college and beyond in the business world. The culmination of all this work was shown at the Advice Beyond the Classroom State Championship. ABC is a business-oriented club that focuses on business skills needed for the real world. At the state competition, 4 schools presented at the UBS Tower in Chicago in front of a large panel with a lot of successful business people. In this competition, I had the opportunity to present in front of this large crowd. From all the practice and skills I learned from Ms. Linger and the Incubator program, I was able to present with confidence. My team and I ended up winning this competition, which has been a major accomplishment at the end of my senior year. Now as I look towards college and the business world beyond, I do so with certainty. The lessons learned in this program have prepared me for anything that has to come into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Now I invite WIS up to present. We ask that you remain seated until all the presentations have been completed and the final results have been announced. Please welcome WIS, a team tackling a problem almost everyone has experienced. That moment when you suddenly wonder if your breath is fresh, but you do not want to make it obvious that you are trying to fix it. WISP's mentor is Mr. Jeffrey Young.
Good evening, and thank you to everyone for being here tonight. I'd like to start today's presentation off with a story. This is Braden and this is Stacy. Braden is 20 and Stacy is 19. They met in an online dating app and they got along very well. They decided that they wanted to go on a date. But what Stacy didn't know is that Braden So, when they were on their date, Stacy was able to smell Brandon's coffee breath from across the table. And like the 85% of Americans who agree with Stacy, bad breath is very unattractive. And to no one's surprise, Brandon got rejected. The problems Brandon faced on his date with Stacy were one of the many problems that our company wishes to solve.
I am Incubator, and I run finances.
I'm Josh Olson. I run marketing.
I'm Nick Strybeck, in charge of leadership.
I'm Simeon Don, and I'm in charge of operations. So here lies your everyday mints and gum. You have your general chewing gum, you have your classic Altoids mints that comes in that beautiful aluminum tin, and then you have your less general but still widely used Listerine breast strips. Now here's some of the problems with these that we are looking to solve. The problems with some of your general chewing gum is that people say it's not cool, and when you are trying to freshen your breath and look professional, people can still hear you smacking your gum, and it's very annoying to some people. The problem with Altoids mints is that even though you can put them in your mouth and it still has that peppermint flavor, it has so much sugar in it, which is essentially really bad for your teeth, and over time it'll cause health benefits or health problems for your teeth, and it'll eventually break down your gums and bring that bacteria into your mouth. It also has a high concentration of peppermint oil, which is also really bad for your teeth. And then lastly, you have Listerine breast strips. Now some people use these because they think it is a better idea to use them over mints and gum. These you put in your gums, and they provide another minty flavor that is supposed to freshen your gums. But what it actually does is, because it has a high concentration of yeast in them, it actually dries your mouth, and it invites all the bacteria that is in your mouth to be able to create bad breath. So what is our solution? Well, some of the data that we found is that our target market is from people aged 18 to 30 years old, and 80% of those people consistently buy mints and gum to try to improve their breath. Most of these people consistently go through 5 to 7 pieces of mints and gum per week. We also found that our target market is a predominantly male market, so our solution can help out people like Braden to be able to create a product that is subtle, sociable, and satisfying. So here's our solution. We use a pouch that is made with like a tea bag-like material. It's sealed. It's 1.5 by 2.5 centimeters, and here are the fillings that we use. We have 4 simple ingredients in our pouch. We have xylitol, which is a sugar substitute. It's usually granulated, but what we do is we blend it up to make it into a powdery substance, and we mix it with our second main ingredient, which is called microcrystalline cellulose. So this is actually a binder, and what it helps is it brings all the ingredients together to keep it into a powdery substance, but also enhance the flavor that comes with our third ingredient, which is peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is simple. It's very simple. It's really just the main flavor in our mint to help get that beautiful peppermint kick as soon as you put it in your mouth. And then that last part is magnolia bark extract. Now what this does, although it may lack in flavor, it really helps to enhance the other flavors of the mint, and it also provides all those health benefits that we want to have in our mint, so that you can have fresh breath for a long time.
So for our total addressable market, that consists of about half of the Americans that consistently buy mints and gum, and that number is about 160 million. For our sizable addressable market, that would be all of the males aged 18 to 13 in Illinois, and that consists of about 2 million people. And then for our sizable obtainable market, that is the 20,000 customers we hope to have in the first 5 years. For our marketing, we want to go for a campaign that is sleek, provides an always-on freshness, and hits our target market most. Here we have an ad that we made. As you can see, it's sleek, it's direct, it has our branding on it as the predominant thing, and it is slightly
obviously, if you buy it for a longer period of time, you would get a discount on that price. Our revenue forecast comes from multiplying our unit price by our units projected. We would start off about $300,000 and grow as a company in a steady rate, hoping to make around $2 million in revenue for the first 3 years. Now here's our profit margin. Like I said, we are a bi-monthly service, so you get 2 units per delivery. With our cost of goods being about $5.60, we would sell it for $8.99 for a healthy margin. So the profit per unit is about $3.40. Now our gross profit comes from taking away that cost of goods sold from our revenue. And these are the numbers we get, leading us to about $850,000 for our first 3 years. Now we have to factor in our SG&A costs. Our first one comes from some legal and contractual fees we may have. As we're selling through Amazon, we will have to be in contract obligations with them. We would also, especially in our first year, donate a lot of our revenue to marketing to grow our company. In our first year, we are expecting around 35 to 40% of our revenue to come from marketing. We would also have to pay for some utility and labor costs coming from the manufacturing plant to help keep them open. And this leads us to our net profit over the years. Now, year one, due to our heavy marketing expense, we would expect to be in the negatives. But as we grow and decrease our marketing costs, our profit increases to a total of about $400,000 over the 3 years.
Now, after all that, you may be wondering why a twist. Well, we aim to give you a product that is subtle, sociable, and satisfying, that is also discreetly delicious. And also, I didn't want to leave the story of Braden on a cliffhanger. So after finding our product, Braden is now able to go out and go on dates with the confidence that he deserves. Thank you.
Great. Thank you all. It was a great presentation. You did a nice job. I'd like to understand, so we were here for the MVP a few months ago, and we'd like to know, based on the learnings from your MVP, what have you implemented to improve your product today that you learned back in February? How have you evolved it?
So product-wise, what we decided to do is we experimented with altering our ingredients and also the pouch. So the things we did with the pouch first off is that we tried to make it a dissolvable. So we use these things called plate pates. They're kind of these dissolvable squares that we put our fillings in and we close them up. But those didn't end up working because when we dissolved them in water and we also tasted them, they dissolved way too fast. So right now we're in process of finding a manufacturer that makes the actual pouches, but they are dissolvable. So we are doing that right now. And then also with the ingredients, last time we had other ingredients like green tea extract and lemon zest, but those didn't work because we found for a replacement that magnolia bark extract really enhances the flavor more. And then one other change that we made that we learned from February is that the xylitol, instead of it being granulated, it takes up too much space in the pouch, but when we blend it up and make it into a powder, there's more space in the pouch for more of that to be able to make it sweeter and also enhance that flavor.
Thank you.
Good job, guys. My question was, what made you guys decide to go with a subscription model?
We found for our product, it's unique on the market, there's not many like it, and data found people are consistent with their purchases, but a lot of Instagram are impulse buys. So they try our product first time and they like it and subscribe to it, they'll keep it and they won't have to go to the store and impulse buy new products that will take them away from our product. So we want to keep that loyalty to us through the subscription service. found month 0, we start off kind of slow, and like Josh said, starting in smaller markets like the Chicago campuses. And we found after that year, we would expand to greater areas, not just Illinois, bringing in a lot more of the serviceable market. Open and expand. So
I had a couple questions regarding the product itself. You mentioned that the subscription service is 2 units per month. How many mints would be per container? And then just to piggyback on that, more information on the container itself, your thought process on keeping that separate and a separate purchasable product from the mints themselves.
So we plan on selling them in about 20 per container, and then the reusable tin aspect, we send you like a bag, and so the tin is like a one-time purchase, like, oh, you buy it for the first time, you get the tin, and then we send, like, next time you get a shipment, it's in a bag, and you can just fill it back up, so that way, that cuts out, like, we don't have to create a new tin for every single purchase that you just throw out in there.
Okay.
piggyback off of him, for our not selling like single time only in the subscription model, sorry, like I mentioned earlier, we want to keep that loyalty right now, and putting it in retail stores or gas stations like Walmart would be very expensive for us, and we don't know if we want to cut that expense towards it now, and we found it would be most profitable starting in just the subscription service.
On this side, you mentioned that you've done some changes from your initial MVP by powderizing the formula, etc. In today's market, what concerns do you have about supply chains, increased costs, and what are your efforts to be prepared for those potential changes?
So to be prepared for those potential changes, we're obviously looking for a manufacturer, because right now we're just making all the products by hand. But obviously with all the tariffs and everything that we need a manufacturer. So we're looking to have a manufacturer to create it at a higher scale, and also to like avoid like we're getting that FDA approval, like Josh mentioned, to be able to really get our product that way.
I have a question just based on the FDA approval. So number one, have you done actual testing with users of this, and have there been any adverse reactions to that? And then have you factored in the timeline and costs for gaining FDA approval?
So we have tested it with people at our school. They think that the flavor is very strong, but we're still adjusting like the fine amounts of each ingredient that we have. And regarding the FDA approval, we have not done testing for that yet.
I would just say really quick on that, you should factor that in. That will take considerable time and cost, and will likely impact your cost structure.
Well, I actually have done a little bit of research on
Oh, good.
FDA approval though. There's no like specific cost to get it FDA approved in general, but most of that factors into like upkeep and like maintenance, facilities, machines that you can use. So most of it is going to be like just our facilities and not really not a specific like cost to like purchase an FDA. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
It does. You'll likely need to do testing though with users to
Yeah.
make sure it's safe and effective. Yeah.
Which brings me to the question on what was the thought process and any sort of research and development on the size of the pouch? How did you arrive at the size that you're implementing?
For that, so what we thought originally, going back to the slide where we want our product to be discreetly delicious, is that we don't want it to stick out. We plan for it to stay in your mouth. The goal is that when you need more fresh breath, because the pouch is supposed to be tucked into your upper lip, when you need more freshness to say, you could always just suck on the pouch and spit through it, and then more of that juice comes out from the pouch, and it helps freshen your breath. And the idea with the size of the pouch is that no one will notice it, but there's still enough of it that it will last you a long period of time.
Do you think you foresee different flavors and concentrations later on down the line as the product develops?
Yeah, so right now we're still working out how long it's going to last. We need to work on that concentration because, if we want to make it last longer, that probably means we're going to need to add more of our sweeteners and our fresheners into it. But then it's also going to just be overboard with the flavor, so we really got to work that out first. We want to work it out with our original flavor first before we start experimenting with the flavors.
Thank you all. It was a great presentation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Having a wireless mic issue. Sorry to interrupt you.
Please welcome Salori, a team focused on a problem we all know too well: waking up tired, hitting snooze, and struggling to start the day. Their mentor is Mr. David Young.
Before we begin, I want to give a huge shout out to our mentor, Mr. David Young. He's over here. Without him, we would not be anywhere close to where we are right now. He has motivated us and helped us through our journey in our incubator class, and we could not thank him, and we could not be grateful enough for the help he has given us.
I would also like to give a special shout out to our panel here, taking time out of their busy lives to be here with us and to give us critiques on what we can do better in life. Also, shout out to everybody in this room to be here to support us. Thank you. But that leads me to our question. Who here felt refreshed when they woke up this morning? By a raise of hands? Exactly. That's where the problem is. And I'm going to let Angelo dive deeper into that.
So I'm gonna start us off with a story here. This is Night Owl Nick. He's 20 years old in college, and he has a morning class tomorrow. But here he is scrolling on his phone at 2 in the morning, not knowing that he's losing crucial amounts of sleep. The next morning, when his alarm goes off, he thinks to himself, I just need 5 more minutes of rest, and then I'll be ready to go to class. Little does he know that these 5 minutes of snooze will hurt him more than it will help him, since it'll make him even more tired than as if he were to just get up from his original alarm. That leaves him in school very poorly performing, and the teacher is very mad at him, as you can see here.
So we're here to fix this problem. We are Salori.
I'm Angelo Bernardi. I'm the Chief Operations Officer.
I'm Dane Jackson, the Chief Technical Officer.
And I'm Shane Quinn. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, and we are Salori.
So right here, we have our business model canvas. It's basically things that we talked about in our last pitch and what we're talking about today. it's just a brief overview, and here's just a quick look at it, and we're about to dive in now.
So there is a huge problem with sleep right now. Out of the almost 1,700 people that we got a response from, only 2.9% of these people responded that they rated their sleep higher than a 7 on a scale out of 10. And that is a problem. So what is Solori? So Solori is a smart alarm clock system that helps you wake up feeling refreshed, waking you up at the optimal time using a 30-minute window instead of a time by using sleep tracking devices and an amazingly designed alarm clock that merges all through an app that helps you find the right time to wake up based on your breathing, your REM or rapid eye movement, and other things such as heart rate and other factors that could help find out which stage of sleep you're in. So once we find out that you're in the lowest stage of sleep in that 30-minute window, the alarm will trigger and wake you up. So what is our goal with Solori? Our goal is to make sure that you wake up feeling refreshed. We want your 4 hours of sleep to feel like 12. And even if you got 12 hours of sleep, we want it to feel like 20 hours of sleep. Our goal is to make you wake up and feel like you're just ready to take on the day. So how are we going to do this? We're going to take existing technologies that already exist with sleep tracking devices and other normal alarm clocks and merge them together through an app that is going to connect everything and work together to make sure your sleep is amazing. And so where do we come in? We come in with our stage 1 sleep technology, which is the crossover through the sleep tracking bracelet or wristband or ring or whatever sleep tracking device you use and the normal alarm clock. And we want to connect those so the sleep tracking device doesn't just give you feedback after you wake up, but actually improves your sleep and improves your wake up and helps you throughout the night and helps you in the morning when you wake up.
So what are some of our marketing schemes for this? So first, we're going to be taking TikTok seeding. TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform out there right now, with it growing rapidly in the year 2026. We're planning on sending out our product to micro creators to help review our product, put it onto the TikTok shop, which is a direct source where they can watch the video, then click the link in the corner, which will take them directly to our product where they can buy it. Our next thing is problem solution ads, where we're gonna basically take different ads through either TikTok or YouTube, and they have a very easy ad upload system, where you basically just select that you want to upload this ad, you can upload it, and then it will put it into the cycle depending on how much monetization that you put into it. And basically with this, we're gonna talk about the problem, and we're gonna talk about how we're solving that solution. Our next one is we're gonna start up a sleeps challenge. Basically, we're gonna try and tell everybody we're gonna give them a free trial with our app, connecting either your sleep alarm with your sleep tracking device, and we're gonna give them like a week trial to see how this can truly improve their sleep. And our last one is patent-led credibility. We're gonna try and use the fact that we are trying to get a patent to help prove the credibility of our solution.
Quick intermission going on.
Sorry.
Batteries.
Oh, okay. So what is our tangible market size, basically? So we are taking US adults with short sleep, which is roughly about 88.6 million, which we took how many adults there are in the US, which is about 78%, and we times that by roughly 33%, which is roughly about how many people suffer from short sleepage every day. And then we shortened it down to Illinois, which we did the same process as we did for the US, just taking the Illinois population. And then we took a 2%, which is also a 49% reachable by TikTok, and that's how we're gonna promote our products mainly. And with an average sale price of $199, we're looking at $6.5 million in revenue.
So these are our early adopters. Someone like Night Owl Nick, who stays up late studying or scrolling on their phone and they need to get up at the right time. It doesn't really matter how much sleep they get. Our additional target markets are people like Blue Collar Bill. These are construction workers who have to get up early in order to get to the job site early, and they didn't get much sleep last night because they were up all night doing whatever construction people do. And they need this alarm clock to wake up at the correct time. Doesn't matter how much sleep they get, they just need it to wake up. And Molly the mom. These are mothers who work part-time jobs maybe, and they stay up helping their children grow and helping their children grow up and be who they are, and also doing their work at home, extra work at home. And they don't go to bed until maybe 11 or 12 at night, and then the next morning they have to get up early to help their kid. And they need this alarm to wake up at the right time. Doesn't matter what time they go to bed.
So who are some of our indirect competitors? Our first indirect competitor is the standard alarm clock. Whether it's an iPhone, an Android, a Samsung, just the alarm clock on your phone. Because research shows 95% of the market actually uses just their phone alarm clock to wake up. And it is terrible for your sleep. Waking up at a random time with loud noise blaring is very poor for your sleep and does not put you in a good state when you're waking up in the morning. Another indirect competitor are blackout curtains. A lot of people use blackout curtains as an alternative to an alarm clock because they feel like just having no sun in the room when they go to bed is enough for them to fall asleep and don't think about the morning at all. Our third one is just the standard alarm clock. This is, again, what 95% of the market uses is the standard alarm clock and either iPhone, Samsung, or Android phone alarm clock. So our goal is to take these people that use these normal alarm clocks and evolve into using our smart alarm system.
So these are our direct competitors. Our first one up is Hatch. It is a traditional alarm clock. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. But it has this sunrise effect, which most people find very pleasant while they're waking up, just like our clock is going to have. Another one is Lofty. They have some technology in their clock. So 5 minutes before your set alarm time, it'll play a light sound that'll slightly wake you up. And then 5 minutes later, it'll play the real alarm sound. But this is proven not really to be effective since when you press the snooze button and then go back to sleep and then wake up 5 minutes later, you're more tired and groggy than you were if you were to just get up at the original alarm time. And then our third one is Philips. They have another traditional sunrise alarm clock like Hatch, but just not high as quality. And they do not have any technology behind it.
So we've talked about how monitoring tech is already out there. Here are some of them and some of our potential partners. First, we have Whoop. It's a traditional wristband that you wear on your wrist, and it tracks all these different things such as heart rate, REM, and your breathing while you sleep. But so does also the Oura if the wristband is not quite your type. But they do not have the tracking device to wake you up at the most optimal time, so that's where we come in as the possible partner.
So this is our original model of our alarm clock at first. So as you can see here, we had a sort of a light strip on the top to replicate the sunlight that will gradually increase when the alarm goes off, as well as sliders and buttons on the screen that'll kind of merge with our app. But we found some problems, especially with the sliders on the side, how we're going to be able to connect those sliders with the app, because you will also be able to change all this in the app. And if you change it in the app, it might not change on the clock, and that'll ruin the system. So that's what we changed here. Our new model is a fully touchscreen model where you can change the brightness, how bright the sunlight will get when the alarm goes off, the volume, how loud it will get, and what sound it is, as well as connecting the clock through Bluetooth, and as well as a vibration effect that you can turn on. If you have a partner in your bed and you both have a sleep tracking device that is made by us, it'll vibrate to wake you up instead of playing noise or playing something else. That way you only wake up one partner at a time.
So we have our 3D printed models here. These were all made by Carmel students in the engineering department, and his name was David Blythe. We'd like to shout him out too. He was a really big help in designing these products. So we have the clock and the wristband both in the front.
As you guys take a look at that, I want to talk about our current app prototype. As some of you may remember, so you open up the Solar app and you're greeted by this screen. It gives you a smart wake-up window telling you when the window is set. Also, if you press the up arrow, it'll go up on time. And then once you're ready to begin sleep tracking, you press that begin sleep tracking button, and then it will take you to this relaxing screen. But we've updated it. I have now implemented a new AI system to it. See this new little chat box? Once you press it, it'll take you to your AI coach, which will basically teach you different ways based off of how you've already slept in the past and give you different prompts on how to sleep even better from it. All right, let's talk the financials. These financials were made by our own Mr. Young. So basically what we're looking at here is we're expecting about 300 units sold if they buy first the alarm clock and the wristband, which we will be giving them a free year trial to our app. And basically we're expecting about 300 new users, which gives us about a $59,000 total revenue. But taking the product costs and app costs, it will come around to about $16,000 in gross marginal income. And then with other marketing costs and other production and boxing, all that, we were looking about $8,000 in net margin in our first year. But by our 5th year, we are looking at about $167,000 from roughly about 3,344 new annual users, plus the revenue from the app, which we are going to be giving them a discounted price if they buy both our alarm clock and our sleep tracking device. Now let's talk about people who just use the app and are just trying to connect third-party alarm clocks and sleep tracking devices, which we're going to be selling this about $99 a year, which we're expecting about 1,000 people to try and incorporate this into their new sleep, which is about $99,000 in total revenue, with the app cost being for cloud storage so that they have that memory to tell them on how to wake up better. We're losing about $5,000 there with a total gross margin of $94,000, which is a 95% margin. And then with other marketing costs and the other costs for packaging and that, we're looking about $69,000 in our first year. But once we get to the 5th year, looking about 15,000 people to be trying our app, or 21,000, my bad. And then with the total app revenue, $2 million. And then from the app costs going up because more storage is needed, there's going to be a slight decrease, but in our total net margin, we're looking at about $1,900,000. So what does this look like combined? So we take the product revenue and the app revenue and we combine it all together, with our first year being around $60,000 and our 5th year being about $2,100,000. And now I'm going to hand it to Shane to talk about provisional patent.
So we recently just filed to apply for a provisional patent. And we believe that this is very beneficial for us because if we can get a patent, that gives us a 1-year period to actually work and prove that we can develop this product, so that way we can be the first to merge the already existing sleep tracking devices and alarm clock and bring them together and make this a brand new market.
So this is Night Owl Nick again. As you can see, he's well rested and performing well at school after buying the Solorio alarm clock and waking up at the right time. Thank you.
First, let me say I think missed something along the line of maybe even, if you're gonna go straight social media, are you missing other people? Like, a lot of my clients are blue collar bill, and they're not on TikTok. But they need this probably more than a lot more people. Where are you at broadening that?
I would first like to add, we could also market to different social media apps such as Facebook, which I know a lot of the older generations are on, as it is the, sorry guys. But it is the largest social media platform out there, realistically saying. And uploading ads to there, it can be a little bit more tricky, as I'm still working around that. And we're going to continue trying to push ads through different social media platforms, since social media is probably the #1 way to promote products right now.
And I just want to add that, so we were thinking about Amazon as well, because Amazon is the #1 e-commerce and #1 online shopping app in the world. But we are really talking about in our marketing is our early marketing, and we feel like the way to market on Amazon is a lot more pricey and a lot bigger and a lot longer of a process than it is to market on Facebook or TikTok shop. So we kind of forgot to mention that, but we wanted to just look at our early marketing. What we're going to do to begin marketing here is mainly focus on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, because those are easier, accessible apps for people, especially who our main target market is. And I completely understand that our additional target market may not use apps like TikTok, but that's why we're thinking to go on to bigger and more social media apps.
So this is the follow-up to that first question in broadening the social media perspective. I noticed in your financials, there's no provision for blind revenue. What I mean by that is, if you're gonna be on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc., what about ad space? Are you gonna recognize revenue that comes from ads on your site, on your app? And also partnerships. If you have links to Whoop and Aura, are you then going to launch your customers to those products whereby you're going to get revenue streams from Whoop for directing the product to your people? That's not recognized in your financials. What do you plan to do with regard to that?
Well, I just want to say for the blind ranking with ad space, we're thinking of going ad free on our app because it is a subscription, so we don't want to annoy people with more ads. When our goal is to be as simple and as easy to use as possible, as well as we added like marketing and putting ads on TikTok and other ads, that's all added up in our marketing cost overall.
How did you guys come up with your pricing model? The number, the monthly?
So I looked at the averages for other technology very similar to this, such as Amazon clocks and smart, like Alexa. I looked at the manufacturing costs on what they spend for that, and I basically took, knowing that ours would be a bit more just due to us having a wristband and also an alarm clock, I factored that in, and then I took the average of that, and then that's how I came to the conclusion of that, and then I tried to make a decent amount of margin within that price.
Do the competitors have that similar pricing, similar price range?
Yes, but usually it does not incorporate some other things with it.
I just want to add on to your question, sir, about like getting revenue from Whoop and Aura. So our goal right now is to not get revenue from them, but more just a partnership where, okay, you allow us to link your wristband or your ring to our app with their normal alarm clock. We're making our own money off the subscription of our app, and you'll make your own money selling your wristband. So our goal right now is not to make money off of sharing with them, but more to make a partnership and almost a friendship with that company.
So I understand the concept of integrating, let's say, your standard traditional alarm clock with these apps that track biometric data, such as breathing and heart rate. But something that seems to be lacking for me is to understanding how it works. So you and I both have the product. My heart rate's different, my breathing's different. What is the questions or the flow chart that's asked? It's more of a software related issue of, how you're getting from reading the biometric data, breathing, heart rate to determine my wake up time within that 30-minute window as compared to somebody else. And then along those same lines, what happens in the instance that the tracking in that window, it actually comes that maybe I should have been woken up 20 minutes earlier, that the data is now revealing that it's not an optimal time, but now we can't go backwards. So how do you account for that as you move forward in that time window?
So basically, even with everybody's heart rate being different, the sleep stages and what happens during your body still is the same, such as your breathing and your heart rate. They will tend to typically slow down as your REM sleep begins to start up, which is basically your lightest stage of sleep. And during this, that's how we'll be able to know it with the significance difference to wake you up during that optimal time. And then also going off of that, during the smart wake window, we try and wake you up during the most optimal time, not necessarily. We wish to have had you in the best time, but if you slept before that and you still wanted those extra minutes of sleep, I could also add in a feature where you can just like wake me up at the best optimal time. I could do that too.
So something to consider that I see that might be helpful is to defining certain ranges, right? So, you know, the first thing you're reading is heart rate. If it falls within this range, then you're gonna go to this next step and do whatever. Or if it doesn't, you're gonna go back to try to create a flow chart of all the steps that are occurring in order to reach what you're considering the optimal wake-up time. So I think that needs to just kind of be detailed a little bit more on the enablement and how it's actually done. You know, the methodical steps and a flow chart I think would be valuable in this situation.
Nice job. Can you talk about what you feel your greatest challenges with your product and how you plan to overcome it?
I think the price is the greatest challenge because making this is not a cheap endeavor, and it's just the alarm clock itself is going to be made up of so many technology components, and there's going to be a lot of science into the wristband. Like you were saying that you have to like track so much data to know the person and like to know when the best time for them to wake up is, not just like a set chart. Like your heart rate has to be at 100 beats per minute for you to be in the lightest stage of sleep. For some people that's not the same. There's going to be a lot of technology and a lot of, you know, data and science into this.
And adding on to his response, that's why we want people to kind of continue this in the long range, because the more they are going to use our product, the more data it stores and the more it knows your sleep and the more it recognizes your patterns in your sleep, the more it recognizes, okay, well this person's heart rate is this high or this person's heart rate is this low. Like maybe people with high blood pressure, high heart rates, like they're going to have a higher heart rate at their lower stage of sleep than someone with a low heart rate at their lowest stage of sleep. So really just, we want people to continue to use our product so they can store that data and use it to remember the person, remember the patterns in their sleep.
I would also like to add something. With the app development, I've been having every hiccups every here and there. As I have been actually testing out slightly our product, but I'm using it through the app and I'm just using the microphone through the app. And sometimes it won't wake me up in the most optimal time, which I have realized, but I feel like if we do get the technology to have like a heartbeat sensor and all that, it will definitely be a lot more advanced and be able to recognize that a lot more.
Thank you.
evening, everyone. We're back for year 2, and I just want to give a little bit of a recap on our product for those who maybe forgot or don't know. So Brink is a straw that detects drink spiking by changing color immediately, which alerts the user. I'm Susan Sapika. I run product development here.
My name is Olivia Picios. I am focused on marketing.
My name is Maren Bowes, and I do operations.
So essentially what our product is a bamboo plastic straw, and embedded within the straw are a bunch of microdots. Those microdots act as pixels, which then if a specific drug like Rohypnol, GHB, or ketamine are detected in drink, they will shift and change colors immediately, which then alerts the user because their straw has turned from white to purple or teal, depending on the drug that it detects. Okay, so what have we done? One of our original plans was to have a provisional patent last April, which we have had through May of 2025 to now, 2026, and that expires in just a week. And we originally planned to then get a non-provisional patent, which is 20 years, but it's a significant expense, and it's for people who have their technology and idea very solidified. As we have gone through more testing and worked with more professionals, we have realized that we want to change quite a bit, and that means that we do not want to completely solidify our idea for 20 years. So we are going to get another year-long provisional patent, which is going to allow us to make our changes that we need to do, while also protecting our idea. And why is this important? It's important because if we decide that we want to branch out with products, like maybe a napkin or a coaster, and then our original straw, we can then patent the technology and have the patent, have the coaster, have the napkins, or the straw be the vessel for our technology. So we do not want to just patent the Brink straw. We want to patent our Brink technology, which is very specific. And then another thing that we did was a proof of concept lab with our chemistry department, which essentially proved our idea to work. And we really wanted to have that to not only show investors, but to show future companies that we plan to work with that we have done something actively to show that this does work.
Throughout this process, we've had many different mentors and people support this and give us feedback. Our main mentor is Mr. Zeman. Mr. Zeman has a background in investment banking as well as finance, but more recently, he has gotten more involved in the women's healthcare system. He's created his own company called Mamaya Health. Mr. Zeman has connected us with many different people, one being his cousin, Mr. Zanin. Mr. Zanin is more a part of our product development side of Brink because he's more involved in the medical device industry. So in the past, he's worked for Abbey and Medline. He's connected us with an engineer named Paul Vidger. Paul is graduating from Vanderbilt this week, and we're excited to work with him in the future because he's going to make our prototype. We've also worked with Reagan Ehrman. Reagan graduated from the University of Arkansas a few years ago, and she's involved in investment banking. She's also involved in entrepreneurship. She is very passionate about women's safety, especially helping those that have been spiked in their past. We are very excited to work with these 4 people.
Now looking at the next 6 months, I will be attending Providence College.
I will be attending Marquette University.
And I will be attending the University of Iowa.
And we're all planning on majoring in business. Going into summer 2026, we plan on meeting once a week in person through June and July, and then meeting once a month with our mentor, just to keep that strong momentum going that we have now. Just because we are graduating doesn't mean we're losing hope into this idea. We're really strong and passionate, and we want to keep it going. You can see throughout August, we won't be meeting with formal meetings, but of course we'll still keep in contact. That's just because we are going to be going into college, and we're going to be acclimating to a new environment, and we just think that it would be best if we settle down and then regroup from there. And then going into fall 2026, keeping that same schedule, meeting once a week, except this will be over Zoom, and then also meeting with our mentor at least once a month. And then we'll also be able to meet during Christmas break, Thanksgiving break, New Year's, and really regroup and look back at the fall and say, you know, if we were able to communicate how much we got done, what are new resources that we have now being in a college and not just being limited to high school. But we're really excited for the upcoming chapters. And thank you. Any questions?
Is there any competition other people against
So there's a couple. There's one from Michigan State University called Safety Straw. They're kind of fizzling out as they're graduating. And so we follow their Instagram. We've been watching them. They actually do the one idea that we abandoned. They're working with pH, and we found that we don't want to work with pH because if you have lemon in your drink, if you have salt in your drink, the pH is changing, so you don't know if it's salt or if it's ketamine. So we completely abandoned that idea last year, beginning of our junior year, and they're still going with that, so we don't necessarily know how they're going to do with that. That would be one straw competition.
And then also at Providence College, actually, there is someone working on a similar idea, which is a straw that changes color. And instead of looking at it as kind of something we have to compete with, it's almost like they're starting and guiding that stray for us to follow. And we can even come and, ask them how they did it and maybe not tell them. Or I can tell them, like, not about my product, but kind of see how they do it so I can follow in their footsteps and see those chemistry teachers and those engineers and kind of see how they did it and do it my way also. So it'd be a good path that they would have started and we can kind of follow along. And they have started a great way of talking to new students and students about that. So even building that up there would be a great way to kind of sneak in behind them and do the same.
And it's also super important that we've left the options for the coasters or the napkins or a drink stir open in case we have to go that route to differentiate ourselves, but we believe that we are already different enough, so.
Yeah, if I was you guys, I mean, definitely, it's great that you guys are going to college, and if you end up making this product, just giving part of your budget would be, if it was me, marketing budget would be giving away straws to fraternities and sororities, t-shirts and napkins and coasters, and put that in your marketing budget, because that's great. You start there, and then if they want to keep buying them, then you keep ordering them. But universities are a great spot to start marketing because it doesn't cost them.
So there's a couple of different avenues, and obviously the straw. I'm assuming when you're saying the napkin and the coaster, that's not just advertising. You can actually drop some drink on the napkin,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, have technology on it.
Okay.
So.
And buying off of that, have you thought about even just like a droplet, right? Like just a small, kind of like a Visine bottle, right? Where somebody can a little bit more discreetly without, putting a straw in the drink, where they could periodically drop, just put a little drop in out of their pocket. And then marketing not just to individuals, ladies like yourselves and my 3 daughters, of course, but to parents. I'm a father with 3 daughters. I would buy this for my daughters, right?
Yes. With the droplet, it is definitely an issue to put. We're running into that issue right now with the straw. We have to have a semi-permeable membrane coating the straw because the reagents, the specific combination that we use, is not for consumption necessarily. So we want to have the drink be able to touch the straw and the reagents on the straw, but we don't want the reagents to touch the drink to then be consumed. So going that route kind of was considered, but we want to avoid that because it's a very difficult route to go on when you're putting these chemicals into a drink to be consumed, and we don't want
That's
to
a
do
good
that.
answer.
Yeah, thank you.
And then even with the marketing, we considered the parents and of course the individuals, but also marketing it to a bar owner or the sorority itself, and being able to have that pride and say we protect our patrons and our consumers would be really big for us too. So.
It might even be an avenue where insurance costs, for the bar or for that restaurant would actually decrease because they have this product. So that's another angle you guys can deal with insurance companies and stuff.
Right.
I just have more of a comment. This is a classic example of innovation that changes with testing and marketing and the evolution of an idea into many different ways that it can be accomplished. I think you learned a lot through the pH avenue and going a different direction. There's a lot of potential in just options, and so I think this is a classic example of just seeing evolution. And a lot of innovation today is simply improving over what already exists. So you guys are taking what you've developed and actually improving it to making it feasibility. So it's very impressive with the improvement that has happened with
Thank
this
you so much.
project.
Thank you.
My only comment is I've been with you guys now for I think this is two
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
and just watching you grow, both your product grow, but then all of you grow professionally, and your presentation and how you articulate your story has been really amazing. I wish you a lot of luck, I'm sure all of us do, in your college, and please, it would be great if you could come back to Incubator and give us an update, because
Yes.
this is such an incredible product that it'll be interesting to see what you guys do with it, even if you're going to different schools. I think it'll be interesting. So
Thank you
looking
so
forward
much.
to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, Tyler.
Up next is Aeroplane, a team looking to make one everyday chore a little faster, easier, and less frustrating. Their product focuses on improving the way people hang, organize, and manage clothing, helping to turn a routine task into something more efficient. Their mentor is Mr. Matt Cuppa.
So this is one of our target customers, Busy Bill. Busy Bill is a 42-year-old husband, father of two, and salesman who's constantly traveling. Busy Bill was set to go on a business trip where he will be going on a corporate golf outing with the great opportunity to land the biggest client of the quarter. So he began to pack. He packed his favorite golf polo, quarter zip, and some dress clothes for some other meetings on the trip. Lastly, he packed some wire hangers, as those were the only hangers that could fit in his suitcase. When he arrived at the hotel, he immediately hung his golf clothes in the closet, and then he went to bed as he had the golf outing early the next morning. When he woke up, he went to the closet, opened the door, and paused. He saw both his polo and quarter zip hanging in the closet with dimples in the shoulders, left behind by the wire hangers. He immediately tried to rub these out, and he even ran the clothes through water to adjust the fabric, but nothing worked. He had to wear these clothes also, because they were only the golf clothes that he packed for the trip. So, when he arrived at the golf course, something felt off. He was self-conscious about the dimples in his shoulders, and his confidence dropped severely. His swing felt tight, and his conversations that usually felt smooth and natural felt like dry. And the client was not impressed. By the end of the round, the connection wasn't there with the client, and Busy Bill could not seal the deal. And on the ride back to the hotel, he couldn't help but think how something so small could change something so big. And we are Airhang, where we want to help you spend less time hanging and more time living. I'm Jack Luby.
I'm Tyler Carlson.
I'm Evan Mays.
And I'm Evan Carey. So the first issue that we find that happens with all hangers is they break. Now we find this especially with plastic hangers, and the cheaper you go, the easier they break. We figured that we could solve this by using a stronger, sturdier plastic to prevent breakages. Next is, as Busy Bill had, the dimples in the shirt. This is huge with wire hangers, as they're so slim, they stretch out your fabric because they don't distribute the weight evenly. With our hanger, we distribute the weight evenly by making it the width of a normal plastic hanger, and that doesn't stretch the fabric. The third issue is that clothes fall off of hangers. We find that this happens with plastic hangers, and although felt hangers are supposed to fix this, they're really hard to get in the collar of a shirt. So we made ours foldable, that way you can get it in the collar of a shirt, and because it's foldable, we can make it wider than a normal plastic hanger, meaning it won't slip out. And finally, as Busy Bill had, traveling. All he could fit in his suitcase was wire hangers, but we solved this because ours is collapsible, it fits in your suitcase nicely, making you able to pack a lot, and they travel easily. So, as you may remember in February, this is our original prototype. It was a very good base for us. It kind of got our ideas down, and it did what we wanted to, but we needed a new prototype, which is where this comes in. This is our new prototype. We worked with the engineering department and engineering students to make this. So it's much stronger, sturdier, it works much better, and the locking mechanism works much better. And we also needed a prototype. That way we're able to approach manufacturers, and we had something that they could take and were able to price out for us.
One thing that we took to heart when we presented to you in February that you guys said was that social media is not all of marketing. So we plan, outside of our social media platforms that we are also running, to also market to places like Ashley Home Store, IKEA, and our local laundromats. What do we plan on advertising there? Well, we would hang posters that look something like this. Something that addresses a problem in something that people already have, and then our QR code being presented as the solution, taking them to our website where they can buy our product. These advertisements are potential for someone like Busy Bill. This is our target market. Someone that might be traveling a lot, might be in airports a lot. This travel market for arrow hang is huge. Something that can just fit into a briefcase or something like that is something that anybody needs to hang up their clothes. None of this matters without a manufacturer. We've been in contact with 4 different manufacturers, but the one that has stuck with us the most and the one that we are going to side with is Inplex. Inplex Custom Extruding is going to be who does our initiation fee, which we will be able to pay as soon as we can. We know that hangers are a very saturated market. It's hard to name any hanger brands out there right now because there's just so many. It's such a commonplace item. This is why we have narrowed down all the way to sort of just an aesthetic closet organization space market rather than just hangers in general. This brings us to where we are located, which is Prime. It's right next to Chicago, and there's a ton of people, a ton of markets that we can reach out and have influence on, as well as with social media, that influence goes across the country. So we value that the market for our specific product probably has about $500,000 and $750,000 a year on the table.
So I've been working on the website, and I designed this with Shopify. This is going to be our home page. Wanted to give it a neat and simple look, and then obviously we put arrow hang with our less time hanging, more time living slogan in the middle too. And then this is our About Us page. I put a picture of us from the last presentation in February, and then I gave us an Our Mission box as well. And then this is our Buy Now page. This is where you would be able to click to get your own hangers. And then here's our pricing chart. So we're gonna have 3 options, a 10-pack, a 25-pack, and a 50-pack. The 10-pack is gonna cost us around $5 to make, and then we're gonna sell it for around $8. And then the 25-pack is gonna cost us around $12.50 to make, and then we're gonna sell that for about $19. And then the 50-pack is gonna cost us around $24.50 to make, so then we're gonna sell that for around $32. And then this is the cost summary. So the materials isn't just the plastic, it's like the color too and the mold. So that's gonna be a majority of the cost to make it at $3. And then we have the manufacturing next, and that's just like the machine that is gonna be used. So that's gonna be 75 cents. And then we have the labor. Obviously the companies have to pay the workers, so that's gonna be around 50 cents. And then the packaging is gonna cost us around 75 cents as well, giving us a total of around $5. And then we're also gonna have to pay an initiation fee to the manufacturers. So that's gonna be around $8,000 to $10,000. Just from calling around to all these companies, that's around the estimated price that we got from those.
And for our future plans, after we get our products manufactured in bulk, we plan on selling our product also on TikTok Shop and Amazon. We chose TikTok because we feel we could advertise very well on there, and we can just put a link in our bio, which can take you directly to the shop where you can purchase our product. And then for Amazon, it is largely known as the biggest e-commerce company in the world. And our mentor has a guy who is familiar with selling products on Amazon, and he is going to guide us to help us put our product on Amazon. And now this is Busy Bill after discovering airline. It's the same business trip, the same golf outing, and the same high stakes as before, but this time feels different. When he packed his favorite golf polo and quarter zip, but this time, instead of packing wire hangers, he packed arrowhead hangers, which fit nicely in his suitcase when collapsed. When Busy Bill arrived at the hotel, he immediately hung his clothes in the closet, and then he went to bed, as he had the early golf outing in the morning. When he woke up, he went to his closet, opened it, and paused. His clothes hung perfectly, smooth and crisp, and there were no dimples in the shoulders. When Busy Bill arrived at the golf course, he was confident, energized, and sharp. And everything went well for Busy Bill. His swing felt nice, and more importantly, his conversations felt smooth with the client. By the end of the round, he shot his best score ever, and also more importantly, he connected well with the client. After the round, he left the course not only with the lowest score that he's ever shot, but also with a deal secured. On his ride home back to the hotel, Busy Bill realized how something so small, such as a reliable hanger, could change the course of something so large. Thank you for listening.
I got a question. Have you guys looked at all the different competitors you got out there? Anybody that's similar to you guys at all?
Yeah, so the main one as far as reaching that sort of aesthetic market that we're into is Bright Room. That's what you'll see if you go to Target or, like I said, Ashley Home Store, IKEA. They are the main sellers, I would say.
And do they break down like your guys do?
No, they don't. We are very innovative in that way.
I can also add, so there are a few on the market that they have like different folding designs, so they'll maybe fold in half or something like that, but they don't quite have like our design where it fits in the collar that easy and like that it folds out. And we also have like for the future different add-ons we can do to it that you wouldn't be able to do with their design.
Have you checked to see if, I know like when I pack my suitcase, I can leave my hangers on and it fits into, a certain area to stack it up. It does the head of that.
So
you checked that it fits?
we haven't checked that yet. So the more testing we do, the more we're gonna ask different people and see how it works for them. And then also that is a good add-on that we could make it even more foldable. That way it does fit in extra nice.
Building on that, just another thing that we wanted to do that we were looking into was making them stackable, just even better for, I don't know if you guys do the thing where you have all your hangers set up when you're putting them away, but it's just a mess.
Yeah.
So it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot better. Like I said, same thing that Bright Room hits on, it's a lot more aesthetic in the closet if they are stackable, fit into little groups together.
Regarding your pricing model, what kind of feedback did you get from any research with regard to pricing?
So we kind of wanted to be in like a tier above the plastic hangers, but like also below the wooden hangers. And the wooden hangers are obviously the most expensive, but we feel like that is too expensive. But we also don't want to be like known as like the plastic hanger. We want to be like one tier above them.
The reason I ask is it sounds like your target market is Busy Bill, who is wearing a $175 Peter Millar quarter zip, $120 Viore action pants. He can afford something that is of convenience.
No, absolutely. Our target market is we initially shot middle class. Someone that can afford something that's not necessary by any means, but it makes life easier, it makes life better, things like that. Someone that is not, no one really cares that much about
was pointing out that, you know, the price point financials, because you've got some production costs, and that can be produced a lot cheaper offshore. The profit margin is not blue collar bill, it's busy bill.
Yeah.
Who can afford $29.99 for 10 acres?
I had a couple questions on, during the presentation, there was mention of a locking feature. Can you explain a little bit more about where that's located and how that works?
So basically, after you come down halfway, and where you go down, so because it's locked all the way down, you can push this down and it'll pull back up. Is basically what I was talking about. But we're also talking about, you know, there's different sizes of flows. So we thought about maybe in future prototypes, we can make it lock farther and farther up. That way, the farther it collapses in, you can still fold it on a smaller shirt because the hanger's not as big. So we were working on that, but first we want to get this kind of manufactured, and then we can play around with different types of add-ons,
All right, I have two quick questions to build on the prior question. Have you considered partnering with luxury luggage companies like Tumi or anything like that, so that obviously you're talking about busy bill traveling, and this would be something that could be a feature if someone's going in to buy luggage, they would also be buying perhaps a high-end pack of these hangers?
No, we have not done that, but I will tell you why. It is because we are not just targeting busy bill with the travel stuff. So that might be a later down the road thing, but as of right now, if we were only targeting travel, yes, absolutely, we would be working with Sumi and all those big travel companies. But as it stands right now, we want to have a broader scope of people that we can catch in our fishing nets, because everyone wears clothes, obviously.
Thank God.
So,
Okay, thank you very much. Good answer. So just for each one of you, working as a team is difficult. Building a product together as a team is even more difficult. Can each of you go down the line and just say, what was the biggest challenge you faced and what are you most proud of overcoming during your journey?
all right, that's a great question. I would say that our biggest challenge was initially the concept that we had, like just the intangible idea, was impossible to make. So we had to figure out, you know, okay, we know what we want to do with this hanger. We know what problem we want to solve. So now, in, you know, a reality that isn't, well, like, how do we do this? You know? How do we, initially we were going to make them like out of metal, and then when we started getting into the costs, we were like, that's not going to work out, and initially we wanted it to be a unit that kind of like went in on itself rather than folded, and that ended up also being too, like, no one is going to pay that much for a hanger, right? So I think that what we ended up finding was a pretty good physical version of what was up here.
Great. Anyone else?
I would say, so I was in charge of actually engineering this.
Okay.
So I would say, just like he said, is going from an original idea that we had, there were so many different designs we had. Originally we were stuck, we were like, I don't know how are we gonna do this? Originally we were like, maybe it'll get stuck on here if it folds out, stuff like that. So I would just say, I was really proud of, originally in February, you saw our prototype was very rough. It got our ideas down, but it really wasn't what we
You guys have come a long way. Thank you very much. It's a great concept.
certain templates that they can choose from. Some and we're really excited about these future ideas, and we can't wait to see where this takes us. Thank you. We appreciate you being here and help us help you make it happen.
Okay, I'm going to start off here. This goes along the lines of Steve Harvey put together. I don't know if you guys have seen it on YouTube, but if not, look it up. So Steve Harvey, he put together I don't know if it was an experiment so much, but took a group of folks and he gave people notebooks. And within the 1 year time frame, he revisited the folks, and the people that had the notebooks were 100% successful in achieving everything that they had written down. Whereas the people that didn't have notebooks weren't documenting or writing down their thoughts. So there's this correlation between actually achieving what you want with writing it down. So that is definitely something you guys should explore. It just fits in with this. I love the idea that you have the option to make it fully customizable. So in some of these examples, I see that there might be pages for people that work out or that are in theater. So having the option for somebody to go through and pick and select what pages or what things they want as the content in their planners, I think is an intriguing aspect. And then just something fully to explore is maybe some other features like a pocket for even your phone, right? Everybody's carrying their phone around. If you put a pocket in there for the phone, then most likely they'll end up carrying that around just as much. So, nice job.
Thank you.
I really like the donation strategy you guys put in. It was great, and definitely the organic brand awareness we're trying to do with all the local high schools and stuff like that. Definitely keep focusing on that. I think it's really important.
And is there a consideration for expanding the customization where when I'm picking colors or where I can actually enter in information like recurring things like Tuesday night meetings or practice, where when it comes printed to me, some things are already in the boxes where they are, as opposed to being the right choir practice every Tuesday.
Yeah, so we did actually explore that in our first prototype. We were planning on doing something like that, but as we continued, we realized like it would kind of be hard to put that in place because, like for example, I play club soccer. I don't get my schedule until like after I would have already ordered it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the schedules wouldn't line up so that you wouldn't be able to actually have the exact dates to input into the planner while you're making it. Also, we thought about that and we thought maybe it would be more beneficial if they actually wrote it down in the planner because maybe that would help them remember like, oh, I wrote this down, I have this on Tuesday night.
Absolutely. To add to that really fast is another like problem that we kind of ran into that Caroline mentioned earlier was the expenses of like adding that stuff into the planner. So while we explore the option, and Caroline just said the reasons why, we were thinking of adding that into like the bundles. So like, the highlighter for maybe like Caroline wants green for soccer. For maybe for the bundles in the future, then she can use her green highlighter. So maybe like help that's a pop of color that right when she opens her planner, oh she sees the green, like a green, oh that means I have this on Tuesday. Something like that. So that's a great idea, and maybe as like we gain more traction as a company and maybe like more revenue and we grow, that might be a new option that we would explore again, maybe in the future, depending on like customer opinion and things like that. But like at the moment with our price range and how we're gonna function at this like current day and time, that's an option that we're kind of putting on for maybe later.
All right, so last question, just like I asked that. The other team before you, what was your greatest challenge and what are you most proud of overcoming?
I would say my personal
Mhm.
challenge is everything on the website was definitely like keeping like, because okay, the first time I did it, it was really hard to kind of come up with everything. Like I didn't really know like where to start off, so I went and I looked at personal websites who are actually publishing everything. It was just kind of hard to not make it like to stand out because our whole point is like what makes us different. So I didn't really know like how to like make it stand out in a way and how to make it to the right market. So like the colors, like how it used to be navy blue, I
Thank you.
I would say mine is like I said before, like building off our first prototype and making it more simple because the first one we got a lot of feedback that was like it's a little difficult to understand. And I feel like that was hard to overcome because we had to wrap our heads around, okay, how are we going to make this more simple? How are we going to make it easier for not only the panelists to understand better, but also our clients? But I feel like we overcame that really well and thought of new concepts and ideas that we could implement in our new prototype.
Honestly, I think my biggest challenge was probably expanding the marketing outside of social media. I just feel like, as Caroline has mentioned, we've all mentioned in this pitch, is we're all on our phones all the time. So for me, as CMO, I immediately thought, since everyone's on their phone, social media is what I should utilize the most. And in the first semester of the year, that's really all I really thought and focused on was social media. After having feedback, a challenge was probably brainstorming other ideas besides just putting up flyers as ways to market and kind of tailoring more to the lifestyle of the brand as well as the product. I'm really proud of how we came together and found different ways to expand our marketing. I'd say that was probably a big challenge for me, but we worked together and we made it happen. For me, the biggest challenge would have been coming up with the price because we wanted to make the planner more or less affordable, but we also realized that on your average planner you're buying, it's $25 to $30 per planner, and if people are willing to invest that much money into that or other products like stampenes and the walls, which are very expensive, that means they're looking more for the brand and the lifestyle that it gives and the name than just affordable prices. And so I felt that $35 was allowing for us to generate revenue, but also profit, but also giving our customers that feel that they're carrying something that is popular and trendy.
Thank you. I think you guys have done a nice job taking our feedback from last time and implementing it, so nice job there. But what's also evident, I think even more importantly, is your collaboration and your teamwork has evolved in the last 4 months, and that is evident from you on stage. So thank you for working not only on the product, but on how you work together as a team.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice job. Nice job. Nice job.
I would now like to ask for another round of applause for all of our incredible teams presenting. We're so proud of your hard work and dedication throughout this year. Seniors, we wish you the best of luck in college. Thank you to our amazing panelists and members for your time today. Now, I would like to invite Derek Rowland to the podium to give the second testimony of the night.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming. My name is Jerry Carollo, and I'm a senior here at Carmel. Back in my freshman year, public speaking was a real struggle. Losing my train of thought, mid-presentation, speaking too fast, and lacking the confidence to hold a room were things that I dealt with constantly. 4 years in Ms. Linger's classroom changed that completely. Through consistent presentations, honest feedback, and high expectations, Ms. Linger built my confidence one speech at a time. She created a classroom environment where improvement was the standard and every student was pushed to be better than they were the week before. The ability to stand in a room like this one and deliver a message with clarity and confidence is something I give thanks directly to her. She built a business program at Carmel that goes far beyond anything a textbook could teach. These skills developed in that department, public speaking, networking, etc. I'm going to focus on public speaking and networking, since those were two of the biggest skills that I developed. And they translate directly to the real world. Networking taught me that relationships are the foundation of every successful venture. And public speaking gave me the ability to actually communicate all of it effectively. These are not skills that most people develop before adulthood, but the business department at Carmel made sure that we did. Every presentation, every project, and every high standard set by Ms. Linger prepared me for moments
apologize if my voice doesn't carry enough, but thank you for having us. I found this experience really encouraging, and you all did a wonderful job. And I think it's a direct reflection on Ms. Lindgren, because it's really something to be able to speak to people, and it's hard. And for young folks, parents who are here, young folks who can do that, it's a skill that doesn't exist with everybody, and so it's a pleasure to see that happen. And as a group, we were discussing the ladies from Blink. You guys are wonderful. I hope that product makes it. You ladies are going to kill it in the world. I can see it right now. I wish you all good luck. So, the group of the best presentation, taking some input from folks who had seen that before, there was a big jump, and they took some previous advice to hand and improved their product, improved their presentation, both visually and verbally, and we were pretty much in a consensus with that.
Yeah.
You want to tell them what we saw that was really impressive?
So one of the things that we saw in February across the board with all of the teams, and the feedback that was consistent, and before I get to that, now that we know that we're going to be up in front of people, next time we'll coordinate our outfits, because all of you look outstanding. So we'll do that next year. But the feedback from February was, number one, look at your marketing. All of you needed to evolve your marketing, and I think you did a nice job with that. And the second thing was, look at your numbers, evolve your financials, and tighten up your financials. And so we saw in this particular group, this group stood out in both of those categories and led us to the best presentation as well as the product most likely to come to market. Yeah.
What was that thing that stuck out a little bit with this group that showed they made some real progress?
Yeah, I think just a working prototype and the progression of where things went from the beginning to the end, all of the research and development, and just really a working functional prototype is very telling.
We'll let you make the final comment and reveal the winner.
You guys all did a great job. You guys all should be proud of yourselves. But the winner is Arrowhead.